Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. Game week, Kansas State week. As I said in the recap video with John, at the conclusion of our big win over TCU, get an opportunity following week to exercise our demons in Manhattan. Very excited. Want to preview this game a little bit, talk about Texas being ranked. We come into this game number 18 in the country. People have taken notice. Two consecutive weeks, victories over AP top 25 opponents, Power 5 schools, TCU especially, and USC even came back with a win. Right now, things have changed. I was not necessarily making doom and gloom videos after Maryland, but really just asking big picture questions about Tom Herman, about the future of this program. That's where we were at 3 weeks ago, and now here we are. They seem to be turning things around. They're building belief in their staff. They're building belief with the kids. Our young freshmen have come in and really just revitalized this program. Infectious energy across the board. Caden Stearns going on the Thorpe Player of the Week. Just across the board, tremendous performances from those guys. Keontae Ingram coming back. So, we're right now we're in such a different place than where we were. And as I talked about in one of the videos, I can't remember which one, but I think it was Jim Mora Jr., who was talking about when you go against opponents who seem inferior, and it may be hard to get up, even though it shouldn't be hard to get up for this week because of the mystique of Manhattan and how we struggled. But look, Kansas State is a very struggling program, and this has to be a week where there's not going to be a whole lot to scheme for. Kansas State is straight up and down. We know what they like to do. Alex Delton will start. He gave us a lot of fits last year because of his speed, but there's no excuse why Todd Orlando shouldn't have all that stuff dialed up. Guys with the appropriate keys. Again, they're probably the most similar team to Maryland in terms of some of the misdirection they do in their quarterback run game, but their offensive line is nowhere near the standard that Bill Snyder has put out in previous years, and why they're having a very disappointing season. Right now, they only have wins over, I believe, South Dakota and UTSA, if I'm not mistaken. So, they got curb stomped by West Virginia, and they were dealt with. Who else did they get? They got dealt with by somebody else. It was another Power 5 school. Hang with me momentarily. And Mississippi State, excuse me, at home. So you look at those two teams that kind of could match up to what we present. There's going to be a lot of issues for Kansas State, but at the same token, got to respect Bill Snyder. Got to respect Manhattan and everything that's built up to be. But this is a week, theoretically, assuming that the gap of these teams in terms of talent level and in terms of just how they've played, this has to be a week where Texas works on itself. This has to be a week. I gave Herb Hand a lot of credit. We got to hear from him yesterday. Upon further review, the offensive line wasn't as great as I was excited about, but they've been better. They're not so bad to where we could just let everybody else off the hook. They've had some issues with stunts. They've had some issues in the run game. But overall, they are improved somewhat from last season. This should be a week where they really try to flex their muscle, where they really try to, get their rushing average over 4.5, 5 yards a carry, where they get some more guys in the end zone. They get over 250 yards rushing, help out the passing game, where they don't have any errors in pass pro. I'm really looking at them because Kansas State, even though they lack ability, they will be physical, and it's Texas week for them. So whatever we've seen these last 4 games, we might have to throw that out the window. That's why I say you come in, you go up early, 10-0, 14-0 in the first quarter, and you insert your will and establish the run game, establish that level of physicality that they were able to get the last 3 quarters against TCU, where you punch the bully in the face and say, look, we're Texas, we're back, we'll be fine. And what I'm excited to see and nervous about, but hopefully, more excited, is how do they play when they're ranked? How do they play when they're starting to get some love from the media? People are starting to ask the question. I hate to say it on this channel, but is Texas back? How does that play into the psyche of this team, of this staff? Compounded with the fact that next week's Red River Shootout. Huge game coming up, a game where Texas is going to feel like they're going to be able to compete with Oklahoma now, especially after what we've seen from Oklahoma last week. So all these things are questions, but this isn't a test where, we need to, or we got to stress out, stay up overnight and cram. This should be a test where they feel prepared. They've done their coursework. They should feel confident. They've passed 2 very large tests the last couple weeks, albeit at home. But considering the level of opponent, you want to keep that momentum going into this week. I want to see some more guys on the All Big 12 team. I want to see some more guys chasing those, getting those accolades. Because if guys like a Gary Johnson or a Caden Stearns, if they're on these lists and getting these accolades, that means we're playing good football as a team. That means we're productive. Guys are getting turnovers. Guys are getting in the end zone, so forth. So just looking to see us to keep the ball rolling. I mean, again, I touched on Alex Delton earlier. Barnes in the backfield. Some of these guys have presented us some issues in the past. But you know what you're going to get from Kansas State in the run game. And in the pass game, they're always going to have the one random guy that can get behind the defense every year. For a minute it was old boy that's on Seattle. For whatever reason, I can't recall his name right now. But every year they have Tyler Lockett. Yeah, so they always have somebody that's either a great punt returner or somebody that can get behind the defense and just kill you. So we always have to be on our P's and Q's for that. I'm sure they're going to implement and install some double moves based upon the TCU film, specifically to target Chris Boyd. This could be an opportunity, though, in coverage. Chris Boyd and even PJ Locke to some degree, because he's actually had some rough plays against Kansas State in the past. This should be an opportunity for redemption, because both of them should know, if I'm Kansas State, I'm coming in the game try to isolate you guys, because you could tell TCU was trying to isolate Chris Boyd in a lot of scenarios. So this could be an opportunity for him to get an interception. It looks like their guy this year is Isaiah Zuber, number 7. So that'll be kind of the guy we need to keep our eye on. Everybody else really kind of just acts as run blockers and may occasionally catch a slant or something here and there. But the guy that they're really deploying on 9 routes and posts and all sorts of stuff is going to be Zuber. And we have to, keep our eye on that. Special teams, looking to see the kicking game back on track. I want to see Cameron Dicker making some kicks on the road, because we're going to need that down the stretch. He's going to be called upon against OU. He'll be called upon on the road at Oklahoma State. Now, Texas Tech, has been, dropping 60-something points on people. We're going to have to go there and play. We're going to have to score points. We're going to need our kicking game on point. So we want to see Dicker get back on track. Whatever issues they had in the kicking game against TCU, just getting that stuff buttoned up, cleaned up, the blocking assured. Still concerned is punt game. Unfortunately, we just miss Michael Dixon. It is what it is. But in a game like this, Kansas State's going to try to exercise ball control, time of possession. If I'm them, I would like to, kind of limit Texas's possessions, because Texas offense has talent, but we're not proficient. So that's going to be something that, you always need to know who your enemy is and how they plan to attack you. And I think that's something we have to be very mindful of as fans watching the game. How if I'm coaching against Texas, what am I trying to expose? What am I trying to do, right? So I want to make Sam Ehlinger obviously uncomfortable. Try to make him make decisions without him necessarily bailing himself out with his legs. Now he was challenged tremendously by the TCU defense, and he passed the test at the end of the game by not tucking and running, but extending the play, allowing guys to get open against the cloud, and making those pinpoint passes. He had a good game against Kansas State last year in Austin, and they were able to pull it out. I believe that game went to overtime when Chris Warren ran it in. But, on the road, just like I said last week, just get an opportunity to be that Texas team. I think the first group since 2002 to pull out a win in Manhattan. The beginning of the game will tell us a lot, because this is really our first true road game, because the Maryland game, albeit even though it was in Landover, it wasn't necessarily at their home stadium or whatnot, and it was, obviously we kind of maybe had more Texas people in the stands than the Maryland folks, but this is really our first true road test. We have the Stormtrooper whites on, and back when Mac Brown, again, when he was rolling, we were great on the road, guys. Even towards the end, I remember when we went up to Ole Miss, I dropped like 66 in the Stormtrooper whites. So we gotta go up there and get back to that. When we put on the all whites, we mean business, and we're gonna curb stomp you. And that's got to be the mentality that gets back into this program. They have really put out a very good, not great, but a very good product at home. It's enabled them to get back to being ranked. I'm not ready yet to say Texas is back, but they have a good product going right now that's developing, and we're excited about it because of the young pieces that we're starting to see some consistency from. And we're, quite frankly, we're seeing better coaching. They have to monitor and evaluate themselves the same way they evaluate players on a week-to-week basis. And this week's test is, how do you play when you're ranked? Can you play on the road, playing in Manhattan, and honestly beating a not very good football team? You're able to check those boxes off. Cool, let's go head up to Dallas and get ready for Oklahoma. That's what business needs to be this week. It's very, very simple, guys. So other than that, I'm happy. The other thing I wanted to point out that I spaced on earlier was just the offensive line starting to get the consistency of having the same lineup in there. I think that will only continue to get better each week in terms of their communication. So I don't want to see issues with stunts again in some of the games that people are going to play on them. Their communication, since they're all getting reps together, nobody, that it's pretty much been shored up with Elijah at center and Derek at right guard. We should be good to go. And I'm excited to see some of these other young guys that haven't gotten an opportunity to play too much yet, whether it's Deli, eventually Overshawn coming back into the fold, Brennan Eagles getting healthier. But overall, I'm just excited to see this team perform up to their ranking and continue to go from there and try to attack the rest of the Big 12. So you guys let me know what other things that we should be on the lookout for in this game. One of the things I liked was when we kind of prepped for the USC game, and even after the USC game, we even had some USC fans come on the channel and just chime in with their thoughts on the team and what they thought, their expectations and whatnot. So if there's any Kansas State fans out there that have some thoughts and want to dive into some things, feel free. I won't bite. So appreciate you guys. We're almost at 2,000 subscribers. Unbelievable growth. Really since August, and since we've really gone heavy with just providing more and more content and just trying to get my thoughts out there, trying to link up with different people and collab and just have meaningful conversations and discussions. And I'm enjoying all the back and forth and just the different perspectives that you guys have brought from the fans in the comments. And let's just keep it up and keep talking, keep winning. So appreciate y'all.